So, what are the great advisors doing that makes prospects want to call them for an appointment, and they are staying book solid all the time? Hi everyone, I'm Len Gibson, founder of the Gibson Group, the system branding experts for professional advisors, and creator of the DNA, Distinct Natural Advantage program. If you're like most tax advisors, financial advisors, legal advisors, fitness trainers, website designers, business consultants, or anyone that provides advice on anything, I know you have to be asking the same question. Well, I'm here today to tell you that after 30 years in the financial advisory business and speaking to all types of advisors all over the country, the ones staying book solid are not all that much better at what they do. What's different about them is that they found a way to better package and better communicate their message, and for many of them, that means they've stopped promoting their services or the services their companies provide, and they've started selling some type of system with a big name and a simple solution to their clients' problems. And today, I'm going to show you the step-by-step instructions on how you can do the same thing. Convert the services you're offering into a system that you can name, trademark, and brochure. This idea can revolutionize the marketing of your services, where prospects will start calling you for an appointment. So why is this so important? Well, because most advisors are very good at what they do, and they provide incredible value to their clients, but they're just not very good at naturally attracting new clients. I think that's mostly because advisors are more technical in nature. You're good at analyzing problems and finding solutions. Most of you are just not that comfortable calling on prospects and marketing your services. And that is so sad, because when you do get a solid meeting in front of a client, you can close the deal. You need a tool that can speak to a prospect for you and draw them in, something that will give you a distinct natural advantage. So let's take what you're doing without changing anything and convert it to a system. Give it a big name that anyone will want to know more about it. Well, there are 6 parts to my program that can help you do this. So let's dive right in. Part 1, determine what's unique about you, something that makes you different. It might be something about what your services provides, or maybe even how you provide it. So first, let's look at how you do what you do. Is there anything different about how you charge? Different about your staff, your location, your delivery style? Maybe different about when you work or when you won't work, or anything else about how you do what you do. For instance, I once knew an advisor who loved golf so much, he decided that that's who he would concentrate on in business, golfers. So he bought a house on the 18th hole of a golf course, and his office was on the bottom level, opening right out to the course. His clients would make appointments at the end of their golf round and just drive their golf cart right over to his office. So make a list of anything unique about how you do what you do. There might be something in there that could become the basis for your system. Next, is there anything about what you do that makes you unique? Maybe a special product or a service you specialize in, and that could be the basis of your system. Nothing you can think of? Well, if nothing else, we can just build a system around your normal activities. So I want you to complete an activity inventory, and here's how you do it. Imagine a new prospect has just said yes to buying your services. Walk through your mind the process you put your clients through, and make a list of everything your business does for them along the way, in any random order that it comes to your mind. Everything you do, from sending a thank you note, getting a file started, making a to-do list, the initial questions you ask, the research you do, the steps you take to prepare your solution, everything until the case is closed, and even on through the monitoring of the transaction in the future. So now you have this long list of random activities that comprise all the things you do to complete your service from A to Z. And that moves us to part 2. What you want to do is then group the activities that you've listed. Take the list of all these random activities and break them into 6 or 8 groups, categories or steps. And these categories are going to be the foundation of the steps in your system you're building. The steps you go through with your services might be different, but as a sample to get you started, I'll share with you the steps most advisors go through. Now, the first category for most advisors usually has something to do with data gathering. So group together all the things you do to get the pertinent facts about your client's situation. The next category to group your activities in is usually in the area of determining your mission or outlining the specific problems you'll be solving for your client. So group all the activities on your list that fit into this category, determining your client's problem. Now, the third group of activities usually has something to do with reviewing your client's resources. So group all the activities you do to find out what they have to work with. You're doing research perhaps or writing a report. The fourth category usually has something to do with proposing your solution or outlining how you'll be fixing their problem. Put all the activities you listed where you are bidding or proposing your plan in this group. Next is usually implementation. So in category 5, put in the activities you listed where you then do what you do to solve your client's problem. Category 6 for most advisors has something to do with the follow-up or monitoring the sale. So list all the activities you do to make sure that things stay on track. So now, just by taking all the activities you do and putting them into 6 categories or steps, you now have the basis for your system. Again, your 6 or 8 steps might be different than the ones I've suggested, and that's fine. Just group all your activities into any 6 or 8 groups that will form the steps in your system. All you have to do is name these categories or steps, and that's next in part 3. The first thing you need to do now is to know that each step always starts with the word "the." If you put "the" before anything, it takes on higher importance and it becomes a standalone item. The end of the name always ends with what I call a power noun, a word like system, solution, program, process, report, matrix, advantage. Words that sound like a solution. It's the middle words that are the most difficult because these are adjectives and it's hard to say big things about yourself. So don't. Use words that your clients have been saying when they describe what your services have done for them. Here's an example. When I created and named my system in my investment advisory business, our first step was a data gathering step. It just seemed so basic, it was hardly even worth mentioning. So we just talked to them about their objectives. But when I started comparing what our competitors were doing, I started seeing how the depth of our questions and the research we did on each client was far beyond the normal. And I saw how from my experience of the years I had in business, it was allowing me to ask the right questions, which had a big impact on my recommendations and the results our clients received. They started telling me how this discussion gave them a better vision of their future. So I named our first step the Life Vision Conversation. Now, all financial advisors have some initial discussion with their clients, but no one else had a life vision conversation. Well, in my second step, or determining my mission, I listed activities that had to do with determining my client's unique issues, such as a second marriage with kids on both sides or a complex tax issue from the sale of some property. So I named this step the Advanced Preparation Process. My third step was a resource review to determine what they had to work with. So this step used to just be a yellow pad listing of their savings and investments. Our clients were saying, though, that it gave them a more detailed analysis of their assets, so the list became the Personal Resource Profile. Next, I prepared a report showing these resources and their investment diversification. This was my fourth step, and before I simply called it our investment report. This same report became the Resource Consolidation Report. Step 5, I focused on producing a plan of action, so I always called it our action plan. But under my system, the action plan became the personal roadmap. And our last step 6 was centered around monitoring the plan to make sure it stayed on track. What used to be a routine review meeting became the Confident Life System. So, just by grouping the activities you do to solve your client's problems into steps, then giving each step a unique name, you can create an incredible marketing tool. Well, that's part 4. And in part 4, this is where you determine the name for your overall system. It's the same process you use for naming each step. Your system name begins with "the" and it ends with one of the power nouns I mentioned. And the middle words, they describe how your clients feel when they use your system. You know, when I first did this, it seemed like I named my steps pretty easily, but the overall name escaped me. I just couldn't come up with anything. So I gathered my staff together in a planning meeting, and I asked them, what are you hearing our clients say about our services? How do they describe what we do? Well, my staff said they were hearing our clients say that working with us gives them confidence. They don't have to worry about their financial future because they trusted our plan, which in turn gives them more freedom in their lives. And through that process, we came up with our name, the Retirement Freedom Solution. So, if you get to a roadblock, ask your staff and your clients for help. And when you come up with a name, you'll be in part 5, brochuring your name. Now, when you're doing your brochuring, this is where I see some really big mistakes because you don't stick to some basic principles. First, remember that this brochure only has one objective, to get a prospect interested enough to call you for a meeting. It's not about you or your firm. It should have nothing about the services you offer or any of your credentials. It's a brochure about your system and how buying it, not you or your firm, can provide a solution to their problem. It just needs to be one page, maybe 8.5 by 11 at most, or bifold. The first side tells the story in more of a graphics and picture form, and the back side should have 1 to 3 paragraphs describing your overall systems and steps, and 1 to 3 paragraphs describing each step and system. Get with a professional printer that has a design team to help you with the layout. Most of the large printers today have a digital press, which means they can print a few at a time, so that your brochure can stay as a work in progress. So, after you have your brochure completed, what do you do with it? Well, that's the last part, 6, marketing your services. When you're marketing your services, you want to be able to change the way you're talking with people. All you'll have to do now is go to places where your prospects are and wait until someone asks you, what work do you do? And then you just say, I'm the creator of the you system. And at 6-step process and you just add a tagline here that describes what your system does. Listen, they're almost going to always want to know more, but don't tell them. Just say, I don't want to bore you with this technical talk at this event. Give me your card, and I'll have my assistant send you a brochure. And if you're interested, give me a call. How you handle this is very important because, look, we all know that a great advisor who has a system that solves unique problems would be in high demand, and that's now you. So you don't want to appear overly interested. I'm telling you, they will call and give you that 1-hour meeting time you need to close the deal. But for the few that don't, have your assistant follow up once or twice, and if there's still no response, then drop it and put them on your mailing list. Don't chase them. Just get in front of more people who will ask you what you do. Follow these steps, and you can convert what you do into a system that will set your marketing results on fire. Now, for some of you, this can be a do-it-yourself project, and you'll stick with it until it's completed. But I'm finding a lot of advisors don't have the time, or they get hung up on naming steps, or just need some guidance that can speed up the process and get this tool working for them. So if that's you, I've got some great news. I've done a step-by-step video on how to design your system, and it comes with a workbook with worksheets and sample guides, and a host of sample words that you can use in naming your process. You'll also get a copy of the brochure I created that will help you with some design ideas. It's just a great guide to turn what you do into a system that you can name, brochure, and trademark. And we even have a design helpline to contact us if you need some additional help. And here's some better news. I've been selling this design guide for over $1,000 at my speaking events and seminars, and I'm telling you, it's the best money advisors can spend who are looking to grow their businesses. But through my website, I'm offering it at a huge discount. Not $700, not $500, not $400, less. And if you buy it now, I'm going to throw in another free video. It's called Building the Dream Team. Most advisors are just not good at recruiting the right staff people. I spent years hiring people that didn't work out. They look good on paper, but after months or even years training them, you realize they don't have the motivation needed to learn the skills you need, so you let them go and start over. Well, finally, I discovered an incredible way to recruit the right people on the front end, a way to attract and carve out the most motivated applicants. You will be surprised when you see this simple system. This video alone will be worth the price of admission, so click on the purchase button right here on the screen and you'll see all the details. Do it now. This is the one thing that can make you different and fire up your marketing efforts. I can't wait to hear your success story.